ask, oh God, that you would take your iron rod, smash the delusion, Father, of Joe Biden as our president. He is not.
Oh, I love it, dude. This is Michelle Bachmann immediately after the 2020 election. She was, if you're unfamiliar, I believe a congressman from Minnesota for a while, from I think 2009 to 2011 or something. But that was enough to really shoot her star to the top. She is one of the more influential people in the Trumpist extremist movement now. And oh my God, does she have some memeable moments. I love it to death because she is so weird sometimes. It's hilarious. She was on a prayer call with Donald Trump recently, who was really, really upset that he got arrested or indicted. I don't know what it was at this moment. This is early April 2023. Listen to what she had to say on this prayer call with Donald Trump.
Oh God, would you declare...
Why does she keep saying, oh God? I don't understand. I'm not from a religion that says it like that. I ask, oh God. Who is oh God? Is that one word, O-G-O-D?
Oh God, would you declare Donald J. Trump innocent? Oh Father, would you free Donald Trump from his troubles and our troubles here in America?
You know, he could have actually gotten out of this trouble, or, you know, he could have not faced this trouble at all, Donald Trump, that is, if he had just not broken the law. I have never once in my life ever worried about being charged with falsifying business records or trying to overturn an election or insurrection or any of that. Weird, right? That I've never worried about being charged with these things. If the dude doesn't want to be charged, there's a simple solution. You don't have to ask God to save him. Just don't do it, seems to me. She is trying to overturn justice right now by praying to God. She's praying for God to overturn justice, to protect somebody from the consequences of their actions, right?
Our troubles here in America. Oh Lord, would you have mercy on Donald J. Trump and America? And would you hear this prayer tonight from your people? How long will you people ruin Donald J. Trump's reputation?
Ruin his reputation, as if his reputation isn't in the garbage already. Everybody in America, at the very least, has an opinion on Trump. They either love him or they hate him. His reputation's pretty much set in stone, I think.
Donald J. Trump's reputation. How long will you make groundless accusations?
How long will he mix love with accusations? Is that what she's saying?
How long will you continue?
No more, maybe. She's saying no more, I think.
How long will you continue your lies toward President Trump? You can be sure of this. The Lord set apart the godly for himself, and the Lord will answer when we call to him.
Absolutely nuts. You know why this is so crazy? Because they view him as a Messiah. They believe him to be the second coming of Jesus. I'm not joking. I'm not being hyperbolic. They really do believe this. Now, in the Bible, in the Old Testament, there's this bit in there that talks about the Messiah. They refer to the Messiah as the Son of Man, quote unquote. Now, there isn't really much more to that descriptor, that name. It's just what they called the Messiah, Son of Man. I'm not even sure why. But the Son of Man was supposed to be a cosmic judge that took political control of the country of Israel as like its political leader and then sparked Armageddon into being. It, bring the world to an end or whatever. That's what the Son of Man's role was supposed to be, according to the Old Testament. Now, every time Jesus was asked, are you the Son of Man? He was a little bit dodgy about it, naturally, because if he came out and said, yes, I am the Son of Man, it would imply, it would be blasphemy and he'd be put to death, as he was. So when somebody asks, are you the Son of Man? Jesus would say things like, what do you think? Do you think I'm the Son of Man? And he would kind of, dance around it a little bit. And that led to this whole entire movement of religious leaders and political leaders like the Honorable Michelle Bachmann. How do you get a title like the Honorable? Can I be called the Honorable Owen Morgan? Anyway, That led to people like the Honorable Michelle Bachmann believing that Donald Trump is the Son of Man, because that role was never fulfilled by Jesus. They expected Jesus to fulfill that role before he died. But when he died, they said, wait a minute, to be the Messiah, according to the Old Testament, he must take political control and spark Armageddon into being. So I guess he'll be back? Was the question they asked themselves after he died. That's why there's this whole idea that Jesus will come back in the first place. The second coming of Jesus only has to happen because he didn't get to be the Son of Man on his first go-around. So they see Donald Trump taking political control in the United States, and they say to themselves, hey, I believe that the United States is New Israel, quote unquote. I believe that the founding fathers are descended from the Jewish people. I'm dead serious. This is real. I don't know if you guys remember this, but a while back, this book, President Donald John Trump, the Son of Man, the Christ, was making its rounds around Twitter. The picture of the book, anyways, making its rounds on Twitter. That's the premise laid out in this book, that the Bible separates the roles, Son of God and Son of Man. Jesus was the Son of God. Trump is the Son of Man. That's the position of the evangelical voting bloc right now. The ones that stand behind Trump to the death. They believe that he is the Son of Man, the Messiah. And that's what we're listening to Michelle Bachmann describe right now. She's praying for the Son of Man, she believes. So Donald Trump was actually on this call too, as it turns out, as were a bunch of other people. Paula White was. You remember the strike and strike lady from a while back? This is Donald Trump's spiritual advisor while he was president. This happened the day after the election 2020.
Strike and 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 strike until you have victory.
So that woman was on there too, Paula White. But Donald Trump gets on the call and he starts talking. Listen to the stuff that he had to say. Early April 2023.
We're being discriminated against as a religion. We're being discriminated against as a faith, and we can't let that continue. I'm fighting very hard for the people of our country, but I'm fighting very hard for people of religion.
Totally. He's fighting very hard for people of religion, he says.
Very hard for people of religion, people that believe in God, people that believe in faith, and it's an honor to have so many of my friends.
Dude, if you're going to cough, then back up off the microphone, please.
It's an honor to have so many of my friends on the call. As you know, we're going through a fake investigation. That's what it is, by radical left people that I believe actually have to hate our country. But we're winning. We had a great day today, actually, because it turned out to be a sham, and it's turning out to be that.
Of course, he's talking about being arrested for falsifying business records and stuff.
And we have others down the line, but we've been winning them for 8 years now.
We've been winning them for 8 years, okay?
Since we came down the golden escalator, as they call it, at Trump Tower. But one thing that I've always remained solid on.
Dude, you know what drives me absolutely heckin' batty? When somebody makes little noises into their microphone, you know? I was talking about this with this dude, Bill Johnson, recently. He kept like, and he would rub his hands together like this. It's like, knock it off, man. I don't need to hear all these weird noises, please. If you're going to cough or rub your hands together or sniff or something, please back up off the mic.
But one thing that I've always remained solid on, that is our faith, our religion, our Christianity, our beautiful Christianity.
Our beautiful Christianity.
And the other thing I've remained loyal, and they've remained loyal to me, are the people on this line. Incredible people, the most respected people I know. There can be no greater calling than what you do and what you've done. And one of the things I think, and I really believe is, and perhaps the main thing that our country needs again is religion. We have to have religion.
Yeah, religion. We need more of that, not less of it, absolutely. Or we need more absolutely unhinged from reality religion, not more moderate or down-to-earth or in touch with reality religion, 100%.
We're losing our religion in our country, and that's what's happening to our country, because I don't think it's ever been so bad. 3 years ago, we had something very special, and now we have something that's falling apart.
3 years ago, we had something special, and now it's falling apart. Wow. absolutely unhinged from reality, dude. Of course, he was using this prayer call thing as a pretext to build a voter base, bring in donations and garner sympathy and all that other garbage. As usual, that's Donald Trump's way. But I want to talk a little bit more about Michelle Bachmann because she's been doing some other weird stuff. So let me show you this clip to give you an idea of some of the things that she's said, done, and believes over the years. Mid-November 2020, this is right after Trump lost the 2020 election. She's disheveled, she's a mess, comes out here, films this video, and says this.
I ask, oh God, that you would take your
There's oh God again, okay?
iron rod, and I ask that you would smash the clay jar of deceit in America. Smash the clay jar of delusion in the United States of America.
I would love that. That'd be fantastic. I think we can pray for the same things.
Smash the delusion, Father, of Joe Biden as our president. He is not.
And now we're starting to deviate.
Yeah.
Would you take your iron rod and smash the strong delusion that Nancy Pelosi does have her House of Representatives? We don't know that. Smash it.
We did know it at the time. And she did have the House of Representatives. She was the Speaker of the House at the time. From 2020 to 2022. She absolutely was. And Joe Biden was president at the time, too. This woman is unhinged from reality. She is losing her mind right now.
In Jesus' name, smash, Lord, the takeover of the U.S. Senate by Chuck Schumer. Lord, smash it with your iron rod.
Just for sheer interest, there's something else I wanted to mention. She was talking about an iron rod there, right? There is a religious and political cult out there called, oh God, I don't remember the name of it, but it's been nicknamed, fondly of course, the Church of the AK-47, I think, or the Church of the AR-15 or something. And they believe that the Bible is referring to guns when it talks about iron rods, quote unquote, and they have an obligation to own an AR-15 and train with one every day and everything else. They wear a crown of bullets around their head. Dead serious. Dead serious. Vice did a whole documentary on these people. It's crazy, dude. And they're from the same political wing as Michelle Bachmann. They share a lot of values in common. Really. Unhinged stuff, man. Check this one out. Early January 2023. Listen to what else Michelle Bachmann had to say recently. She kind of goes with the flow. She talks about anything that the Republican Party is generally attacking and comes up with her own weird little interpretation of it. This is her on wokeism, quote unquote. And if you're watching this 5 years in the future and the woke thing has kind of come and gone, I'll explain it to you. Wokeism is being to the left of hunting the homeless for sport. It's basically just not hating people for the color of their skin or whatever. That's basically what it is.
The theocracy is actually one of a religion that we don't really recognize. It's a religion that's almost a cult, really, and it's a religion of this wokeness, this.
Okay, well, interesting. I do want to point out that cults and religions are not mutually exclusive. It can be both, or it can be neither, or it can be one or the other simultaneously. It doesn't matter. Scientology is a non-religious cult. They have supernatural beliefs, but it really isn't a religion in the traditional sense. It's a psychology cult. QAnon isn't really a religion either. Both of these things have religious aspects to them, but neither are really religious cults. QAnon's a political cult. It can be a cult, but not a religion. It can be a religion, but not a cult, or it can be both. But she doesn't seem to see the nuance here. She just wants to call anything to the left of hunting the homeless for sport a religion. Because if you adhere to these ideas that everybody should be treated equally, that we should work on making this a more fair society, if you believe any of this stuff, then you're committing heresy. She can justify telling her audience it's wrong to believe that gay people should be allowed to live freely in society by claiming that if you believe that, then you are part of a different religion that doesn't worship God.
And it's a religion of this wokeness, this progressive, wokeness that actually demands the allegiance of a religious faith. You cannot deviate from the belief in this religious cult wokeness. And if you don't go along with it, you can be banned, you can be shadow banned, you can be canceled.
Wow, that's fascinating that she's talking about how evil cancellation is. Cancel culture, it's so terrible, isn't it? Kind of funny she mentions this because there is apparently a new app coming out. Conservatives plot text warnings on woke products. So you can sign up for this service run by right-wing nutter butters like Michelle Bachmann, for example. And if you sign up for the service, they will text you a list of all of the brands that you're not supposed to purchase because they're too woke. You know what that sounds like to me? That sounds like cancel culture. Just tossing it out there. Knock it around the noggin for a minute. A conservative group is offering a new service that texts woke alerts straight to the phones of grocery shoppers who want to know which brands are accused of taking political positions that are offensive to the right. Why it matters. The plan marks an escalation by deep-pocketed conservatives to hit corporations where it hurts their bottom line. The strategy by Consumers Research, which isn't affiliated with Consumer Reports, also represents an attempt to coordinate potential boycotts, seizing on the outrage some consumers may feel about a brand. This is cancel culture. That's what that is. These people scream about cancel culture 24/7. When they are the worst perpetrators. It doesn't get worse than these people about cancel culture. Seriously, how did they gain the footing to claim that everybody else is doing cancel culture? The left is not doing cancel culture, but woke alerts sure as hell sounds like cancel culture to me.
You're not going to get a loan at a bank. You're going to be canceled. PayPal is maybe going to charge you if they don't like what's on your social media. Literally, banks are dropping organizations and people if they don't like What's
she talking about? This is completely out of thin air. This is nonsense. Now, there is one person I know of who had their bank basically drop them. Or a couple. One of them is Nick Fuentes, I think. And the other is Mike Lindell. That's pretty much it. And you know why? Because they didn't want to deal with the inevitable subpoenas and legal problems that would come along with having them as clients. They don't want to deal with the legal ramifications of working with these people. That's totally understandable. I think Lauren Witzke had her bank drop her too. They just wrote her a check for everything that was in her account and mailed it to her and said goodbye, basically. That's only in specific circumstances where you're putting this bank in legal jeopardy, while Michelle Bachmann's wing of this political party is actually sending out woke alerts. Really? Does it get more hypocritical than this? This is bad, right?
If they don't like what their opinion is, that's the theocracy that's rising today.
Come on.
It isn't Christian.
Okay, I thought theocracy was a belief in a deity, right? Isn't that what a theocracy is? Definition of theocracy: a system of government in which priests rule in the name of God or gods, apparently. That's what a theocracy is. Okay. This doesn't sound like a theocracy to me. You know what she's really doing, though? She's really just trying to flip this around. She knows that these accusations are being leveled at the right at the moment. They're trying to create a theocracy, and they absolutely are. And they're damn near it right now, in my opinion. When religious groups are writing bills and handing them to congressmen who are then presenting them to take a vote, that is really, really close to theocracy, in my opinion. But no, it's the left that's the problem, right? It's the left that's trying to create a theocracy. Sure. Okay. Check this one out. Early April 2023, she decides to go on a tirade about communism, of all things. FYI, communism is not coming to the United States. Not even close. There's this thing that some article she discovered that's talking about 15-minute cities where everything is going to be within 15 minutes of each other. You can walk or take a train or whatever to anywhere in the entire city, and it'll take a maximum of 15 minutes. Fantastic idea, honestly, in my opinion. That would be great. New York City, I think, Manhattan is 16 by How big is Manhattan? I forget now. Okay, so Manhattan is 2.5 miles wide and 13 miles long, right? And there is a fantastic, robust subway system through Manhattan, but it still takes me up to 45 minutes to move from one tip of Manhattan to the other. So it would have to be a pretty complex system to build out a city that you could reach anywhere within 15 minutes. That would be really, really helpful and useful, I think. But let's listen to what Michelle Bachmann has to say about 15-minute cities.
So it's really a leash, an electronic leash. You see where this QR code comes in on our phones. This contains people to an area that is no more than 15 minutes from home. And what they're promising is that these are smart cities, so-called smart cities, where individuals will be tracked and traced. And
dude, where did this tracked and traced thing come in? I didn't hear anything about being tracked and traced. They just said they want to make a city where everything is within 15 minutes of each other. And what about QR codes? She's just making stuff up right off the top of her head. And she's somehow trying to link this back to, like, evil. Okay? Seriously, she will take any subject and turn it into, say, something to do with Satanism or communism. It's like a Rorschach test. It's like free word association. Throw out a word, chair. And she finds some way to relate chairs back to, like, Satanism.
And surveilled. And we can move about freely within 15 minutes from home. Now realize, in the former Soviet Union, their people were allowed to go 50 miles from home. Any further, they had to get permission of the government.
The 15-minute cities are not confining people to those areas. You're allowed to leave. And is that even true about the Soviet Union? Maybe. But something I've come to find about this woman, you can't trust a word out of her mouth. Not one. Look everything up, even if it's like a trivial detail that seems mundane and meaningless. Look it up before trusting a word out of her mouth. Could people move freely in the USSR? According to country reports for human rights practices for 1989, freedom of movement in the Soviet Union is not guaranteed by law. However, citizens are generally permitted to move about freely, except within certain areas, such as the frontier and strategic regions. So it sounds like it may not have been guaranteed by law, but they were free to move between the different countries or whatever. I'm not even sure what she's talking about here. Within 50 miles. Is this just made up? Did she just make this up? This is what I'm talking about. She just comes up with stuff right off the top of her head. Blatant, flat out lies. This is why you have to check every word out of her mouth. Every word.
Government. So this is the move of totalitarianism.
To create a city where everything is within 15 minutes of each other. Yeah, totally. Totalitarianism. Right.
Totalitarianism, where there's a limitation on freedom of movement. In the United States government, under our Constitution, every American has the right to travel. So this is clearly an unconstitutional move in America.
Oh, wow, dude. So she took this an extra step. It's not just they're going to make things accessible for people. It's that you're going to be banned from moving to a different area. Like, give me a break. This is crazy. Just for laughs, I figure we'll pull up the Newsweek article or the Newsweek, like, feature with her picture right on the front. This picture, oh boy, she was not happy about this. Because it shows the crazy in her eyes, right? It shows the complete unhingedness that's knocking around behind those eyes. Like, is there anything back there that's connected to reality? Anything at all? I think she sued Newsweek for putting out this picture. I can't imagine she won if she did, but oh man, this woman is something else. You can see it in her eyes, really. And she has the same kind of look in her eyes today, too. The same look. When they're open, I suppose.
Delusion in the United States of America. Smash the delusion, Father, of Joe Biden as our president.
Yeah, she's something else, dude. I don't know. Let me know what you think about it in the comments. I'm deeply entertained by this stuff, honestly. She's not in a position of power. She is influential. She has, like, a following that she talks to, and that's a problem. But if you don't laugh, you'll cry, right? So let's just have a good laugh at it. It's just crazy, man.